Las Pinas is national high school. Uf, all the restaurant है फिर. Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to another day of learning. Welcome to Institute of Global Professional Free International Webinar. Thank you all for joining with us in this marvelous session, and I hope you stay with us till the program ends. And time to time, you like our Facebook page and subscribe our YouTube channel for upcoming information. Once again, I am Kamrul, coordinator of IGP from Bangladesh. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to be associated with IGP as a global and I feel honored to host this webinar, and it's my delight to welcome you all to our Institution of Global Professional Free International Webinar. Dear participants, before we have completed our 856 webinars successfully, now I will be presenting webinar number 857, and the topic is Research Professional Development Keys to Improve. Today we have a two speaker from Philippines. Before starting the program, I request everyone to share this webinar in your newsfeed and social media. And don't forget to mention your friends in the comment box to join this session. And after our speaker's presentation, we have quiz competition, and after that we have question and answer session, and after that we share our certification process. We invite our first speaker to the screen. Today our first speaker is Sir Albin Viana. He is a secondary school teacher at Las Pinas National High School. We welcome our speaker to the screen. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. Good morning, good afternoon,
Good
good
afternoon,
evening
sir.
to any part of the world. Welcome to IGP, the Institute of Global Professionals.
Thank you, sir. So give a
Okay,
short description about yourself, then you can start your presentation.
okay. May I now share the screen? Okay. Thank you so much once again. To the Institute of Global Professionals, IGP, first and foremost, I would like to say thank you. I am really honored, privileged to be part of this platform and for having been invited as one of the resource speaker for today. So honored, so grateful. By the way, before I begin, just a little brief introduction of yours truly. I am from Las Piñas East National High School, or division of Las Piñas, Philippines. I am handling grade 9 teaching mathematics class. I think I have only given 30 to 35 minutes to talk about this. And without so much ado, on your screen, you will see here the first slide, Teacher Professional Development, Keys to Improve. So for today, I will be discussing about some of the teachers' professional development and the keys to improve. So let's begin. This professional development is enclosed in a hexagonal figure. In each side, there is a corresponding word that is associated with professional development. So, let us find out what are these associated words. One, two, three, four, five, and six. So the first word will be learning. Learning is associated in the word professional development. We, as a teacher, we learn many things. As we grow old, as we come to school every day, as we prepare our lessons every day, we learn new things. Not just new things, but there are various of things to learn so that we can share it to our students. So learning is one. Next, we have the mentoring. As a teacher, we just uh, not working as a teacher inside the classroom. Sometimes we are being mentored by our immediate superior. Like, for example, me as a teacher, my immediate superior is my master teacher. She is giving me some technical assistance in preparation for some of the lessons. For example, also is the classroom observation. So there is a series of mentoring so that you can be prepared. Next, practice. Practice is also one of the professional development that can be associated with. As we go along, and as the saying goes, practice makes perfect. But in the field of teaching, practice is really a vital, vital attitude that we must have. So keep on practicing as we go with our teaching profession. Next, consultation. So similarly, this is similar with the mentoring. So in anything that you have to prepare, you can consult your peers, your colleagues, for you to become a better person or a better teacher. Next, study and improve. Don't just stay in one corner of the classroom. Go out of the box and try to look for something that is better for you. Next, and the last is reflection. For every day that we are in school, for every time that we are done with our teaching, for every time that we are done the, with our discussion to our students, always make a reflection. Always ask yourself, did my students understand the lessons, how they were able to cope up with the discussion, and things like that? So all of these are associated with the word professional development. Now, the next thing to think about is what is the definition of professional development. Let us define. First, I have here, it says that it is the set of tools, resources, and training sessions for educators to improve their teaching quality and effectiveness. These resources allow instructors to further the knowledge in their subject area and allows for mentorship and the opportunity to learn new teaching techniques. Those who take part in workshops or leadership sessions develop and enhance specialized skills, including technical, quantitative, and analytical skills. Let us look on the words that are being underlined. One is the tools. There are so many things or equipment that we can use in our day-to-day teaching. We can use different gadgets. We can use localization type of learning environment. We can even use um, up-to-date materials. We can even use things that we can see inside the classroom. So these tools can even have a partnership in our teaching and discussing the lesson. Another one is resources. When we say resources, there are so many type of resources, not just the books. Nowadays, that we are now in a computer era, computer generation, resources can be easily at the tip of our finger. Okay, by just using the Google, by just using the internet connection, everything can be searched, everything can be found. So resources, we can use it. Next, training sessions. There are so many training sessions that our government is giving to any individuals, especially teachers. And these training sessions will equip our teachers, our mentors into something better. So we need to attend, we need to have, and we need to undergo different training sessions, because as we go along and joining these training sessions, we are also learning a lot of things. And that is why, if we are being equipped with different tools, using different resources, attending different training sessions, we are now in a teaching quality and effectiveness as a teacher. Next, we have, it also says that it refers to instructors developing and improving their skills to better meet the needs of their students. Approaches to professional development include reviewing case studies, consultation and coaching, mentoring, and technical assistance. Now, this second definition is one of the actions that we must do. So reviewing case studies. So there are so many case studies that have been shared to us by our colleagues, by our mentors, by our superiors, in every time that we are attending the training sessions or seminars, webinars like this. So this would help a lot. Next is consultation and coaching. So if ever you will undergo a classroom observation, the teacher would probably ask for mentoring and coaching to your immediate superior. Just like for example me, before when I want to have my classroom observation with my master teachers, I show first my DLL or the lesson plan, and all the activities that I will be using for the classroom observation. And there, she will give me some important things, tips that I must include in the teaching during the classroom observation. Mentoring and technical assistance is also part of professional development. These are being done, these are being given by your immediate superior. So these are some of the professional development as we define it. Next, how about the importance of professional development? Why is it that the professional development important? Of course, from the time that we leave the house going to school, and from the time you start preparing yourself, going to your class and meeting your students, professional development takes place. So that is why it is very important. It says here that the school is a place of learning for both student and adults. Adults means the teachers or the educators. Professional development increases the knowledge and practices of the adults and results in skills transfer between adults and students. Students come to the classroom with a range of ability and skill levels. Some students may be high, low, or average achievers when it comes to learning, but there is still a need to address these multiple learning levels. Access to high quality and continuous professional development gives teachers the tool to enhance their teaching and impact its students at all achievement levels. So look at this word achievement. Now, in every learning, in every teaching, in every discussion, there is always an achievement. Now, when we say achievement, it is the attainment of one's self. For example, our student, you had your discussion, you discuss a particular thing, and not all the students understood the lesson. So what uh, what are the things that you have to consider? First, think about of the reasons why majority of your students did not learn from your discussion. So there must be something wrong. So go over again, recheck your lesson, recheck your methods of methodologies, go back again to the strategies, the activities that you have given, and then after that, use a different strategy. Or before reteaching, consider of uh, thinking of different strategies that you can use for your class. In that way, you can easily notice, you can easily point out what how the students can be able to cope up with your discussion. Next is when educators are able to learn, their students will learn more. Yes, it's true. So i- you cannot share what you do not have. Of course, if you have something to share, if you have so much learnings, then you can share all of these learnings to your students. Continuous professional development adds new knowledge to the teacher's skill set and deepens the competency of the areas where the teacher is already productive. In order to enhance professional development and the betterment of teachers and their skills, it is important to analyze the keys to improving teacher professional development. Realizing how to improve teacher professional development will not only improve the teacher but the students as well. So as like just like what I have mentioned, you cannot share what you do not have. So if you have so much learnings in your mind, if you have so much learning that you can share, then that is better. So don't just sit, go out of the box and think of something that you can share to your students. Reading, researching, watching, these are the things that can help the teachers. Next, how about the keys to improving teacher professional development? So I have here, I prepared some keys to improve teacher professional development. One is focus on feedback and reflection. I have two here. One is gathering student feedback. Feedback from the student is very important because students' feedback will tell us how are we doing inside the classroom, how do we teach, whether they learn or not. So students' feedback is very, very important. You can even ask the students after your discussion, or you can even ask students using your survey poll. There are so many ways that you can get feedback from the students. Next, the second one is getting feedback from teachers or your colleagues. You may also ask, you may also consult, you may also uh, confide to your co-teachers, especially in your department. You may share what you have used in your discussion to your teachers and see if that will fit to his or her class. And same way, if your co-teacher or if your co-colleagues or colleagues share this something, why don't you try also of using the same methods or strategy? Then there you can easily find out that, oh, that one is better. Okay, so focus on the feedback and reflection. Now for the reflection, in every day of your discussion, of course, you will feel that there is something in you about the reflection. You will feel out. You will feel about it that every time you enter your lesson, you will be asking your students, "Did you understand?" So, if the students has this hesitation of answering yes or no, think about it. So, reflection. Next, model best practices. Nowadays, during the post pre-pandemic, we teachers uses different methodologies, different strategies in teaching. But when the pandemic came in, different practices took place because when the pandemic came in, there are so many factors affected. One is the education, one is the learning process, and so and so. Now, for this model best practices, let's have this one. Research-based and application-based practices serve as a model for teachers to enhance their personal learning and teaching strategies. When there are effective strategies being implemented, students are at a direct benefits. So you see, research-based and application-based. So when we say research-based, these things are already or were already analyzed or already considered uh, in getting into consideration of whether we are going to use this research based or the application based, most especially the application based, because we can see students, we can see how our students will be active, how our students will be motivated, how our students will be interested into the lesson that you're going to use. So next we have set relevant goals. Oh, in every day that we go to school, we have this goal. We have this target goal for our students. For the first period, I have to achieve this goal that 50% or 75% of the students will understand my lesson. And my second period, the same thing, and so and so. Let's say, for example, you are going to give a set of quizzes or a quiz for today. So, what's your target goal? Your target goal is you are going to see to it that your student, most likely the 75%, will get the passing score or passing grade. So that is one of the target. Uh, that is one thing that you should have in mind. Setting relevant goals. So for both teachers and students, goal setting is priority when it comes to growth in specific areas. To improve professional development for teachers, goal setting must be a part of that process too. So just like what I have mentioned a while ago, you are going to think of something that you are targeting this kind of goal. Next, and another thing is whether the goal is for a specific group of teachers or for a school-wide initiative, the goal should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely, or in short, the SMART goal. The concept of a SMART goal can add precision and clarity to the improvement of teacher professional development. You will notice that in every time that you will be having your discussion, in every time that you will be having your quiz for the day, in every time that you will be going to your classroom, you are now setting your goals, and it should be relevant to your specific goals. Next, we have make it interactive. When you when you are inside the classroom, when you are teaching your lesson, of course you will think of something that is really more interactive because it's not just easy that you will just teach the lesson without even interaction to your students. So when you think of some interactive activities, you would probably think of your students, their interests and abilities. Because if not, you will just doing the talk and talk, choke and bored. But if you will think of some interactive activities that might or that will catch the interest of your students, then definitely you will have your interactive class. So it says here, students learn with hands-on and interactive learning. Oftentimes, students express their need for project-based learning, group discussions, and hands-on activities. Similarly, this is true with teachers. Teachers express the need to collaborate with their peers, have interactive discussions, and model best practices in reflective environment. So you see, it's very clear. So to make your class interactive, set interactive activities, set interactive goals, set interactive objectives. Then everything will follow. You will notice that, oh, my students are getting motivated, getting encouraged, and so and so. So with this, you are now making your life, your teaching, your you as a teacher more relevant. Next, how about this one? Professional development tips for teachers. So I have here some tips that I can give and share to you, dear teachers and audience. I think most of the audience here are teachers, if I'm not mistaken. So let's have this one. Okay. So professional developments for development for teachers. We have promote student growth. Of course, it should not be the teacher who will always consider the growth. Of course, let us also consider our students because take note that our students learn from us. So their growth depends on us as well. So it says here that as a professional educator, it is essential that you take the time to promote student growth. And this means the following. One, we have set high expectations for student achievement. Actually, not just a high expectation, at least set expectations for student achievement. Don't just let your student getting this kind of score out of 10 item quiz. You will just be contented, okay, everybody or majority get 5. No, you can set it at least a little higher from the borderline of the score of 5. Now, how are you going to take it? How are you going to plan it? It is up to you. We teachers are very flexible. We are very what do you call this? Um, Flexible, resourceful. Okay, so we can set this. Next is use the most recent educational technology. One of the recent educational technology in the Philippines, if I may share, the DepEd provides some learning avenues that uses technology. One is that we have this e-to-lie, wherein one of my friends, co-teachers, are also involved in this educational technology under the DepEd. We also have this the online and synchronous way of teaching. So you can use the most recent educational technology, not just by the book, not just by the talking board. You can even use some technology. You can use even television. You can even use a overhead projector, which you can play your PowerPoint presentation. In that sense, you can make your students promoting their growth. Next, plan instructional strategies. In planning instructional strategies, you you always have to consider the capabilities and abilities of your student. Don't just make any instructional strategies which is not really fit for your students. So set first the instructional strategies that would really fit to your students, to your class, and even to your target goal for the day in your lesson. Next, apply higher order thinking skills. This is also relevant to the first one, set high expectations. So when setting up or applying higher order thinking skills, again, you have to consider the abilities of your students. Okay, one step level up, and then another one, and then another one, until you reach the higher order thinking skills. Because take note that there is some students or most of the students having individual differences. They all have different ways of learnings, and that we must have to consider. Next, use cooperative learning. So some students really learn a lot when there is a cooperative learning, because they can even share, they can even express their thoughts, ideas over any discussion over the matter or any group activity that you will be giving to your class. So when cooperative learning takes place, you will discover that some of the students are very interactive, are very active, etc. So as teacher, we can use cooperative learning. Next, apply classroom management techniques. Okay, so since students having individual differences, you will consider in managing classroom management. Say, for example, there are group of students who are fast learner, a quite fast learner, a low learners. So you will be going to group them accordingly. And then at the same time, you can also mix and match so that you can find out, you can easily find out, and you will be discovering more techniques that you can be applied in using the classroom management techniques. So in here, it is not the students who will also learn, but you as a teacher, because you are going to think of more techniques that is applicable to your class. Next, number two is make use of your time. So don't waste your time when thinking of uh, when thinking of things that you are going to prepare inside the classroom. Okay, one is focusing your students' attention. So check check your students' attention, whether they are participating, whether they are active or not, whether they are interacting, making interaction, joining the group discussion or whatever. So check your students' attention. Focus on them. If they need more attention, go. After the class, go back to your student and try to make some consultation with your student. Try to make some conference with your students until such time that you can help the students get out from what he or she is experiencing for. Next, using materials and technology appropriately. Okay, so do not use materials that is not really applicable to your lesson. Okay, make a use of materials that is really appropriate to your lesson. Say, for example, I am a mathematics teacher. Um, my lesson is all about for fundamental operations or the basic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So I will be preparing things that is really appropriate in presenting the lesson. So there, I will be having some different materials, for example, chalk, notebook, books, and whatever things that is inside the classroom. Use it. And how about the technology? So using materials and technology appropriately. Let's say, for example, for this day, you are going to present your class using a PowerPoint presentation. So therefore, you will be preparing your television set, your overhead projector, or whatever technology. Use them appropriately. And in that sense, you are getting the attention of your students. Next, maintaining a flow or rhythm in the classroom. So you can even check in your students' activity. You can even check whether your students is active or not. You can even check whether your student has this interest in the discussion or in the lessons that you are talking about. you can easily you can easily check, you can easily notice. So in that way, make some adjustment to your discussion until such time the students can easily cope up with your uh, lesson that you are discussing today. So maintain the flow. Do not just go and go and go. So at least feel your students that they belong to the class. Feel the students' needs. Next, evaluating classroom instruction. So in every classroom, you will easily notice that whatever instruction you will be giving, you will notice if the students really understood or not. So what you're going to do is repeat again the instruction. Repeat again the directions that you have given. So if not on the first attempt, they did not understood, they did not understand, they did not get the instruction, go over again and then explain the instruction until such time everybody understood the instruction. With that, you can even check while they are doing the activity. You can even check while you are going around the classroom. You can even check it. You can even see that they are following the instructions that you have given. Next, differentiating instruction according to student ability. So, say for example, you are having a group activity. So, in this group, or let's say for example, group A, group B, group C. Group A, they have this kind of instruction, which is different from the group B and the last group. So, give them different instruction, but they are going to end with one final answer and one correct answer. So differentiating instruction will give the student the chance to understand and to express their ideas and even their thoughts and their feelings. Next, optimizing the time for the task at hand. So, when we say optimizing the time, you are also utilizing and maximizing the time given to your students. Let's say, for example, you have given them 5 minutes, then 5 minutes. You have given them 3 minutes, then learn to finish the 3 minutes given instructions. So optimizing. Now, if they cannot be able to go for 3 minutes and 5 minutes, yet they have this overtime, and then try again for different activities and set of activities, then use another time. So until such time that they can be able to cope up with the given time as your instruction. Okay. Next, we also have number three, I think. Number three is improve your performance. The essence of a teacher to help others is there. The essence of a teacher is to help others. Yeah. It's always there. It's always around. You can even help teachers, especially when you are sharing some ideas for a particular lesson. Say, for example, try to use this strategy that I have used in my class. Maybe it is also good to your students. So that's what. The essence of the teacher is to help others. Next, this is why it may be so hard for educators to look at themselves to see what they can improve upon. Here are a few tips to help you improve your performance as a teacher. One is read. Read. When you read, you learn as well. When you read, you add additional learning as well. When you read, you are also getting information. And if you do this, you also sharing things to your students. So read. Next, participate in every seminars, webinars like this. Try to participate, and you can get a lot of things. You can get a lot of learnings, because if you will not participate, of course, then you will get nothing. But if you are participating in different activities like seminars, webinars, symposiums, hands-on trainings, etc., then probably at the end of the day, you get something to learn. Next, join a group. Nowadays, during pandemic time, we there are so many group online that can be an avenue that can be helpful to us, wherein we can get something from them that is very useful, that is very helpful for our students, and not for our students, even for us, we teachers. So in joining a group, please take note that uh, you have to consider what you can get from the group. Next is observe your peers. For example, your teacher is very active on this kind of matter. Try to look into it and discover why is it that this teacher is very active. Why is it that this teacher is gaining knowledge? Why is it this teacher is getting something from this from what he or she has been joining? So observe, and then try can I also join to your group or to your organization that you belong? Maybe I can get something from it that would help me to become a better person, or etc. etc. So try to observe your peers. Next, share. Of course, you cannot share what you do not have, and by that, whatever things you have, please share. Do share. Don't just keep it to yourself. Share it to others. Okay? And as the saying goes, sharing is caring. Sharing is also a blessing. Next, don't be afraid to take risks. So in taking risks, sometimes we are being caught of whether we are going to do such thing or not. So let us see this. Before you try something new in your classroom, make sure that you do your research about it. Okay? Do not teach a lesson if you think you are not prepared for it. Otherwise, you are really at risk. Okay? You are not taking a risk, but you are really doing a risk. And that is a what? Not applicable. So when you teach a new lesson, you think you are not well prepared for it, I mean, so go for a research, go for a deeper understanding before you present it to your class. This will help you take that risk. Try observing other teachers who may have already implemented that strategy or piece of technology. If you think you are not familiar with the lesson, try to go with your co-colleagues. Try to get their ideas. Try to get their opinion. There's nothing wrong in that. In that sense, you are helping also yourself. Next, an effective teacher is not afraid to talk to other educators, just like what I have mentioned, and learn from them. They are willing to continue to learn their craft and take risks. They take the time to promote student growth as well as improve their own performance. They are always learning and always growing. You don't even know that when you do these things, you are getting a better individual in terms of professional development. Okay, I think that's the end of my talk. So here are the references that I have used. A graduateprogram.org. So next, I also use the teachhub.com. And then the last one is the tophat.com. So with this, I would like to say thank you again for the Institute of Global Professionals for this opportunity. And okay, I would like to say have a great day and thank you very much for your time. Hi, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your wonderful and marvelous presentation. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much as well.
Thank you, sir. Sir, after our second speaker, we have quiz competition, and after that, we come back again with our Q&A session. Okay, sir?
Yes, okay, I will stop
Okay. Thank you.
speaking. Thank you.
Dear participants, today we have another speaker. Today, our second speaker name is Sir Darwin. Darwin. He is from Philippines. He is a secondary school teacher at Talon Village National High School. Let's we welcome our second speaker to the screen.
Yes, thank you, sir,
Hello, sir.
for the introductions. Can you hear me, sir? All
Yes, sir.
right,
I hear you clearly.
all right. So I would like to also to present my presentation. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank the IGP, the Institute of Professional Development, and of course the SDO Las Piñas for the support, and of course the Lodi Village National High. So I would like to introduce myself first. So I'm Darwin S. Kama, a secondary school teacher from Talon Village National High School. So again, good day everyone. And how are you today? So I think are you all good? And at the same time, I hope everyone is okay. So today I will share with you the teacher's competencies which also help us to improve our profession as an educator. This topic aims to understand and identify the 21st century teacher's competency that will surely helps you in the teaching and learning process. All right. So now, what is teacher competencies? So when we say teacher's competency, so these are the skills and knowledge that enable a teacher to be successful, which aims to maximize students' learning, and teacher must have expertise in a wide-ranging array of competency in an especially complex environment where hundreds of critical decisions are required each day. So teacher competency is focused on the requirements of a competency-based teacher educations and include the knowledge, skills, and values. And of course, a teacher trainee must demonstrate for successful completions of a teacher education program. So what are the characteristics of teacher's competency? So number one is a teacher competency. It consists of one or more skills whose mastery would enable the attainment of competency. Number two, a competency is linked to all three of the domain under which performance can be assessed through knowledge, skills, and attitude. Number three, a performance dimensions competencies are observable and demonstratable. On the other hand, a teaching competencies may require equal amount of knowledge, skills, and attitude, but some will not. Some competencies also involve more knowledge than skills or attitude. So whereas these competencies may be more on skills or what we call the performance based. All right. So why is this important? So teacher's competency is important because it is the transformational power of an effective teacher is something many of us have experienced. Okay? So a teacher competency are a life changing or changes in terms of teaching strategies, classroom management, and instructional delivery. This is something how we improve our knowledge, skills, and attitudes towards the 21st century learners, which can be also change the way of learning. All right. So next is the four classes of competencies. So do you recall the four classes of competencies? So we have the instructional delivery, the classroom management, the formative assessment, and of course, our personal competencies. Okay. Now, what is instructional delivery? So when we say instructional delivery, it is the instructions that is well planned, moves students from their current level of competency towards explicit criteria for success. Now, try to ask ourselves how you're going to give instructions with your learners, or what are your preparations that you provided to them to understand the instructional delivery. So we have the effective explicit instructions. Okay, what are those effective categorical practices? All right. So we have the well-planned design and planned instructions. Number two, the instructions that offer sufficient opportunities for successful acquisitions. Number three is teaching to mastery. And number four, teaching foundations, knowledge, or skills. Okay? So these are the effective categorical instructions practices. Now, under the well-designed and planned instructions, so these are the instructions that is well-planned and move students from their current level of competency towards criteria for success. Of course, as an educator, in terms of instructional design, it should be with a clear instructions, or the instructions must be in objectives, in which the teacher should present these objectives to students for each lessons. Another is the scope and sequencing. The teacher should teach the range of related skills and on order in which they should be learned. Moreover, these are the reminder for well-designed and planned instructions. So teacher plan instructions must be appropriate to the students. Okay? So by collaborating, of course, with the colleagues to monitor the performance of the students and making instructions to the responsive, especially to the cultural differences and individual learning needs. Another is teachers show their acumen and versatility. Okay, how? By using a variety of methods and materials suited to the needs of all students. Another is a teacher, of course, display awareness of technology potential to enhance learning or to enhance their educational and learning processes. So as we all know, before or during the pandemic, so a teacher educator used a computer online applications and integrate it in the lessons or in the discussions. So with this, integrating technology into the instructions is maximizing the students' learning. All right. So another is the instructions that offer sufficient opportunities for successful acquisitions. So the instructions provide sufficient opportunities for unfinished errors and ample reinforcement for success. So it is when the teacher is, of course, presenting different viewpoints, especially the theories, or sometimes it's ways of knowing and the methods of inquiry in the teaching a subject matter or the subject matter concepts. And aside from that, of course, the multiple teaching and learning strategies should help engage students in active learning opportunities that promotes the development of critical thinking, problem solving, and the performance capabilities while helping them, all right, by assume responsibility and identifying using learning resources, right? So another is the instructions or the teaching to mastery. So this is the instructions that clearly stated the knowledge, skills needed by students, which verified by the teachers or student peers. So as a teachers and as an educators, it is better to provide high rates of responding for each student to practice the skills. The teacher should provide sufficient opportunities for unfinished errors and ample reinforcement for success. in which the teacher should have sufficient time to discuss the topic, in which enough instructions must be demonstrated and clearly understand by the learners. Okay, so under the teaching mastery, of course, the teacher must know the content they teach, right? So number one, the teacher develop and apply lessons based on effective course of the study. So how? Of course, by integrating effective literacy instructions throughout the curriculum and across content areas to enhance the student learning. Number two, the teacher, of course, honor the content appropriate to their teaching specialty by demonstrating a appropriate level of content, knowledge in their specialty, and of course, by encouraging students or learners to investigate the content area to expand their knowledge and satisfy their natural curiosity. Number three, the teachers, of course, need to show they recognize the interconnectedness of content areas discipline by demonstrating a knowledge of their subject. Of course, by relating them to other disciplines or to the other subject areas, by relating it to the global awareness of this subject. This will be having integrations to other subject matter. Okay, number four, of course, the teachers make their instructions relevant to the students. Of course, by integrating the 21st century skills and content in the instructions. So next one is the teaching foundations, knowledge, and skills. Of course, the current lesson, it should be built on the past to increase fluency and maintain mastery of material. So the teacher should teach the foundations of knowledge and skills because at the end of the day, this will be become the basis of teaching big ideas. So in a class discussions, the teacher should relate lessons to complex issues and big ideas that provide deeper meaning, and of course it gives students better understanding of the content. Another, the teachers also help students grow as a thinking individuals. How? Of course, by integrating a specific instructions that help students to develop the ability to apply processes and of course the strategies for critical thinking and problem solving, right? So another is the classroom management. I know you are familiar with the classroom management, and I think you also know the answer why classroom management is important in teaching and learning process. And it is already mentioned by Sir Alvin when he discussed the classroom management. So now let's define the classroom management. So when we say classroom management, it is the process by which teachers and schools create and maintain appropriate behavior of students in classroom settings. Another is it is one of the most persistent areas concerned boys by the school administrator, the public, and teachers. That is according to Everson and Winston 2013. So having an effective classroom management, it is one of the skills that the teachers have by organizing his or her classroom. And having the effective classroom management, teachers know maximizing efficiency, maintaining the discipline, and of course, the moral of the learners or the students. The teachers also promote a teamwork, planning, communicating, and of course, focusing on the results. How? Of course, by evaluating the progress and making constant adjustment. So, a classroom management also is need a range of strategies. It should be employed to promote a positive relationships, cooperations, and purposeful learning. It can be also an organizing, assigning and managing time, space, and activities to ensure the active and equitable engagement of students in productive tasks. All right? So, in a classroom management, teachers, of course, establish a respectful environment for a diverse populations of students, especially nowadays. So, of course, what the teachers should do, of course, the teachers provide an environment in which the students has a positive, nurturing relationship with caring adults. Of course, by maintaining a positive and nurturing learning environment, the teachers should embrace diversity in the schools, even in the community or in the world. Of course, by using materials or lessons that counteract or stereotypes and acknowledge the contributions of all cultures. By incorporating different point of views in instructions, and the understanding the influence of diversity and planning instructions. Another, the teachers treat students as individual by maintaining a learning environment that convey high expectations of every student. So we should also always set a high expectations to the students for them to encourage. All right. So another, the teachers must or should adopt their teaching for the benefits of the students, especially those who have a special needs, by cooperating with the specialists, using their resources to support the special learning needs of all students. Of course, it's by using a research verified strategies to provide effective learning activities for students with special needs. And next and is the teachers work collaboratively with families of students and other significant adults. Of course, so in our situations, especially in the public school in the Philippines, we always communicate with the stakeholders, which is the parents. That is why we have the parents homeroom parents meeting. This is something a communicative and collaborative um, with the parents at home or even in the community are also involved in the schools. It is for the benefits of the students. So the teacher should be a proficient, of course, to create a climate that maximizes learning and induces a positive mood and tone in four important areas. All right? So, what are those important areas? So, these are the four important areas that the classroom teacher should be proficient. I know some of them are already mentioned by Sir Albin, but I would like also to discuss it one by one. So number one is the in terms of the classroom management. So number one is the rules and procedures. So having an effective rules and procedures, teachers should identify expectations and appropriate behavior for students. To be effective, these practices must be observable and measurable. On the other hand, a teachers always, of course, clearly stated the rules identify, it should be defined, and of course, the operationalize acceptable behavior specifically to the classroom. So these rules must be applicable to all students, and of course, the design to build is pro-social behaviors, and of course, to reduce the problem behavior. Under the rules and procedures, they also distinguish the appropriate from problem behavior as well as the specified consequences for violations. Number two is the proactive classroom management. So these are the practices that the teachers and the administrators can employ to teach and build acceptable behavior that is positive and helpful to promote social acceptance. It can be also lead to have a greater success in schools. So what are the keys to proactive classroom management? Of course, the active teacher supervisions. This element may help to constitute the active supervisions to require or it requiring to or requiring a staff to observe and interact with the students regularly. So the goal is to build a positive teacher and student relationship by providing them a timely and frequently positive feedback for the appropriate behavior and to respond to appropriate behavior swiftly and consistently. So the teachers also demonstrate the following. Teachers lead in the classroom by evaluating the student progress using a variety of assessment, the data measuring goals, drawing on appropriate data to develop a classroom and instructional plans. So it should also maintaining a safe and orderly classroom that facilitates student learning and positive management of student behavior and effective communications to diffuse the de-escalate disruptive or dangerous behavior and safe appropriate seclusions and restraint techniques. Okay, another, the teachers demonstrate leadership in the schools. How? Of course, by engaging a collaborative and collegial professional learning activities, by identifying characteristics or the critical elements that the school improvement plan and displaying an ability to use appropriate data to identify areas of needs that should be addressed in a school improvement plan. Another, the teacher lead the teaching professions, of course, by participating in a professional development and growth activities and developing professional relationship and networks. Another, the teachers also advocates for schools, students by implementing and adhering policies and practices positively affecting students' learning. And lastly, the teacher should demonstrate a high ethical standards. So this is something with the, of course, as a teacher, we should have our professional development by participating in the webinars like this, or the webinars or the seminars provided by the Department of Educations or any organizations that promotes our professionalism. And aside from that, of course, the accredited by the Department of Education is the NEA course. So this is something help us to improve our professions. So another is the effective classroom instructions. Of course, it is the key to maintaining a desirable classroom climate to provide students with quality instructional delivery aligned to the skills level of each student. So, in effective classroom instructions, this enables students to experience success and keeps them attentive and participative in the classroom. So, additionally, effective classroom instructions may help the students to align their expectations in achieving their individual learning uh, needs. All right. And lastly, the behavior reductions. So the behavior reductions, it is in connections with the classroom management and instructional delivery, because having behavior reduction practices, it is designed to reduce problem and unacceptable behaviors that are employed in the event, of course, the first three strategies fail. So the behavior strategies or reduction strategies, it includes giving student corrective feedback at the time of infractions and maximizing reinforcement of a student's unacceptable behavior. And in this behavior reductions, it's guiding our students on how to behave a appropriately, right? So next is the formative assessment. I know teachers, you are familiar with the definitions of a formative assessment. So when we say a formative assessment, it is a progress monitoring. It is indispensable in promoting teacher and student success. It is something frequently listed at the top of interventions for school improvements. So that is according to Walbridge 1999. So getting effective assessment can incorporating a formal test, responses to quizzes, evaluating or evaluations of classroom assessments or assignments, student performance and projects, and standardized achievement test to understand what students have learned. So assessment strategies should be developed that involve learners in self-assessment activities to help them to become aware of their strength and needs, and of course to encourage them to set personal goals for learning. So when we say formative assessment, it is consists a range of formal and informal diagnostic testing procedures. It can be conducted by the teachers throughout the learning process for modifying, teaching, and adapting activities to improve their activities or to improve the students' attainment. All right. So when we say assessment, so number one is the assessment. It is the act of assessing students' performance throughout a lesson. A teacher's insight into who is succeeding and who is falling behind. So it is important that teachers to collect and maintain data gained through both formal or informal assessment. So this is day-to-day activities that we should do in a private or public institutions, that we provide them an assessment, quizzes, activities, okay, that also measures the capability and learnings of the students on the topic that we discussed. All right. Another is the data display. So in assessment or in a formative assessment, it should be displaying the data in a form of graphic that has a surprisingly powerful effect on a formative assessment, useful or something useful as a tool. Okay, so another is the data analysis. So a data analysis is a formative assessment that is most valuable when teachers use evidence-based research and their own professional judgment to develop specific remedial interventions before it is too late for those falling behind. So that is why collecting the data is a basis for uh, providing or creating a remedial interventions to the learners. Example, in our schools, okay, so after the assessment or getting the performance of the students, we create our own interventions for them to cope up with the lessons. All right. So aside from that, especially those students who needs in interventions. So during the pandemic, of course, we have the formative assessment to use. We have the online activities via Google Forms and other online applications. While under the modular approach or modality, we have also the modular activities intended for students who doesn't access on via online platforms. Of course, we provided them self-learning modules and of course the self-learning assessments. All right. So next and competencies is the personal competencies. So what is a personal competencies? So teachers should display enthusiasm and excitement for the students they teach. More than just generating excitement, they provide a roadmap for a student to reach the goals set before them. So as an inspiring teacher, it can affect students profoundly by stimulating their interest in learning. It is equally true the most students have encouraged to teachers who are or inspiring for whom they perform poorly. Unfortunately, effective and ineffective teachers have no readily discernible personality differences. So teachers, of course, display enthusiasm and excitement for the subject they teach more than just generating excitement. Of course, they provide a roadmap for students to reach the goals set before them. So the best teachers are proficient in the technical competency of teaching. What are those? The instructional delivery, formative assessment, and a classroom management. Of course, the teaching skills and the lifelong learning competency of professional teachers comprise the following. Number one is to perform complex educational duties. Number two, to be well spoken in good mental and physical health. Number three, stable and tolerant. Next, to have a proficiency to work with the younger generations. Next is good communicative and observable skills, tact and a vivid imaginations, and of course, the leadership skills. Next, what are the teacher's educational duties? So number one is the educational ability. It is characterized by detailed knowledge of the subjects. Number two, educational skills. It is perfected teaching skills And number three, educational creativity. It is marked by implementations of new methods and techniques into educational activities. Number four is the educational innovations. It distinguished by incorporations of essentially new, progressive theoretical ideas, principles, and methods of trainings and educations. So, what are the behaviors that teachers can master for use in the classroom? Of course, some of them are also already discussed by Sir Alvin, but it's short tips for us to having the behaviors in the classrooms. Number one is establishing high but achievable expectations. Number two, encouraging a love for learning. Number three, listening to others. Number four, being flexible and capable of adjusting to novel situations. Next is showing empathy, being culturally sensitive, which I mentioned earlier, embedding and encouraging higher order thinking, along with teaching foundation skills, and of course, having a positive regards to students. So these are the behaviors that we should master or use in a classroom. All right. So I think that's the end of my presentations. And again, I'm Darwin Escama, leaving you all with these quotes. Educators should inspire creativity, do critical thinking, create collaborations, and make communications so that students are ready for tomorrow. Again, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the IGP, Institute for Professional Development, and of course, our SDO Las Piñas. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Hello, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your wonderful.
Thank you, sir. Sir, you're not audible, sir. Sir, we can't hear you po. Hello, sir. Where are you po?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. I hope our participants learn a lot from you. Thank you, sir. So now we are going to our quiz competition, and after that we come back with our Q&A session. Okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
screen share करें. Stop দেন. এবার নতুন করে দেন. আগে ওখানে ক্লিক করেন. এটা তো ওইটা. এবার দেন. Estimate আসেন. Dear participants, this is our quiz session time. You can join this session by slido.com, and today our quiz code is IGP quiz. The code is IGP quiz. To join this session, you have to go to slido.com, and after that you have to enter the code, and the code is IGP quiz. Then you can join this session. Today, top 10 quiz competition winners get their quiz certificate after this session from our official Facebook page. Our Facebook page address is Institute of Global Professionals. We start our quiz competition after 1 minute later. So join the hurry up and mention your friends in the comment box to join this live quiz session. সমস্যা হচ্ছে ক্রোম থেকে দিলে আসে যায়, আর এখান থেকে যদি স্টিমেট চালু করি তাহলে এটাতে যেতে হবে. এটাতে যাওয়ার পরে প্রথমটা, আর ওই নামগুলো দেখার জন্য এই সেকেন্ডটা মাইক্রোসফট থেকে হলে ব্যবহার করতে হবে. Now 43 participants already join with us. I request everyone to join with your full name, which will directly print on your quiz certificate. We start our quiz competition now. Our first question is, what is teacher professional development? Is it PD in teacher driven, diverse, inform and content, open, collaborative, or ongoing and requires support? The answer is option number 1, PD in teacher driven, diverse, inform and content, open, collaborative is the right answer. Our next question is, what professional development would be offered to the teachers of this class? Is it classroom management or differentiated instruction? Option number 1, classroom management is the right answer. Next question is, what is an example of digital professional development? Is it watching funny sport YouTube videos during class time, or access to a recorded webinar or podcast that can enhance knowledge? Option number 2 is the right answer, access to a recorded webinar or podcast that can enhance knowledge. Our next question is, Community service and professional development cannot connect with your lifelong responsibilities. The statement is true or false. Option number two, the statement is false. Next question is, it is not important for teachers to take part in professional development opportunities. The statement is true, false. The statement is false, and option number two is the right answer. Next question is, its responsibility is for design, development, and delivery of professional development for teachers and school leaders. Is it Department of Education or NAP? Option number two is the right answer. Next question is, professional development has been criticized as something teachers receive from others at certain times and days. The statement is true or false? The statement is true. The next question is, what are some limitations and threats to professional autonomy? Is it Schools Act and Regulation, ministerial orders and policies, or work intensification? Option number one, School Act and Regulations, ministerial orders and policies is the right answer. Next question is, three are professional education organizations that a student can join. The statement is true or false? The statement is true, and option number one is the right answer. Next question is, the most important role of the teacher is the facilitator of learning. The statement is true or false? The statement, the statement is true, and option number one is the right answer. ওখানে গিয়ে শেয়ার করেন আমার ওইটা। Congratulations everyone, and congratulations of our top 10 quiz competition winners. Stop করেন আগে, শেয়ার করেন, শেয়ার দেন দেন, দেন শেয়ার। Congratulations our top 10 quiz competition winners. Top 10 quiz competition winners get their quiz certificate after this session from our official Facebook page. Our Facebook page address is Institute of Global Professionals. I'll finish now. Finish. Thank you. We are now going to our Q&A session. After a short video clips, we come back again. হুম? হুম। এটা ওই ঘুরাইতে হয়েছে 10 জনের নামগুলা দেখানোর জন্য। এখন কি করে বলতে হবে? স্পিকার দুজনকে তুলে দিন। না না, এটা একটু উপরে তোলা নেই। দুজন। হুম। ওটাই শেয়ার করে রাখি। এস্টিমেটে দেন। শেয়ার দেন। কোনটাতে দেন? ওই পাওয়ার পয়েন্টটা একটু খোলেন। আগে পাওয়ার পয়েন্টটা খোলেন। পাওয়ার পয়েন্ট। হুম। হয়েছে। এবার মাইক্রোসফটে যান। উইন্ডোতে যান। এটা সিলেক্ট করেন। হুম। শেয়ার। আবার ইয়েতে যান, এস্টিমেটে যান। হুম। Dear participants, this is our Q&A session time. You can send your question in our comment box. Our speaker are ready to answer the question, and I remind you that please address our speaker name. Okay, sir, our first question for both of you, and the question is, what is the difference between career development and professional development?
Sir Darwin, can you?
Sir Alvin?
Yes.
Yes, hello.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the question, Sir Flomi Salviejo. As to your question, what is the difference between career development and professional development? Okay, taken from the word career and professional. There are careers that are not really considered as professional, and there are also professional that can be considered as career. So to answer your question, sir, the difference is from the word itself. There are careers that cannot be considered as professional, but most of the professionals are part of the careers. Thank you.
All, all right.
Thank you, sir. Sir,
Okay. In
Sir Darwin?
Yes, in addition with the difference between career development and professional development. So in our profession as a teacher, it's how we grow as a teacher, right? And in regards with the career development, it's a need support from mentoring, coaching. So that's the difference between career and professional development.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Dear participants, we are still waiting for your question. Sir, our next question, Sir Alvin, give the
Okay.
importance and benefit of professional development among teachers as well as to their students. What can we do to help teachers be engaged and develop interest for continuous professional development?
Okay, just like what I have mentioned. Thank you, sir, for the question. Just like what I have mentioned in my presentation, we can have our interest in the development of our professional development in such a way that we can be dealing with our mentors, with our superiors, with our immediate superiors, in order to achieve our goals, in order to attain what is the need to be attained. So in that way, we are also, or we are gaining a little things from the professional development itself.
Thank you, sir. So Darwin, you can add it also.
Regarding with the question of Sir Alvin, so the question is given the importance of benefits of as well as a student. What can do to help teachers engage in development interest for? All right. Of course, as like what we discussed earlier, it is really important to us as an educators to provide them an activity which is engage or the students will engage in different activities, discussion which help them to improve our learners in terms of knowledge, their skills, even the attitude that we uh, teach to them. All right. So I think that's the uh, importance and the essence of having this professional development.
Okay, I'd like to add something more, sir.
Okay, sir.
I think there are only things that there are three things that we can consider in helping the teachers. One is the service and commitment, our behavior, and professionalism. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sir Darwin, and thank you, Sir Alvin, for your wonderful presentation, both of you. And I hope our participants learn a lot from both of you. Thank you so much for sharing your
Thank you,
knowledge
sir.
and sharing your valuable time with IGP. Thank you.
Much of
Thank you
our
for.
thanks and grateful and gratitude. Thank you, sir.
So, Sir
Thank
Alvin,
you,
what is your
sir.
last? Sir Alvin, what is your last word for our participants?
Come again, sir.
What is your last and final words for our participants?
Okay, for the final words, I'd like to once again invite our audience to please keep on watching, keep on attending webinars that is being provided by the Institute of Professional Global Professionals. This is a good
PowerPoint is
avenue. This is a good avenue, and this is a good place, a good platforms where everyone can enjoy and join the different discussion as well professionally. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir Darwin.
Yes, okay. Thank you, sir, for this. I would like to take this opportunity again, okay, to thank you all the people behind this events. So especially to the Institute of Global Professionals and of course to our SDO Las Piñas and of course with my co-teachers, Ma'am Carol Cipilio for the supports and lifting us to join in this kind of webinar. It's really helped us, and I hope everyone will be always participate and cooperate in these kinds of webinar for us to improve our profession as a teacher and as an educators. Again, God bless everyone and thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you, sir.
Dear participants, today our program name is Teacher Professional and Development is to improve. And today our certification code is IGP 0875. The code is IGP 0875. Please note that code. Please note that code to download your certificate or take a screenshot of this picture. To download your e-certificate, you have to go to our website. Our website address is studiogp.com. After that, you have to create an account on our website. And after that, you have to enroll the today's program and enter the code. The code is IGP0875. And finally, you can download your e-certificate. After downloading your e-certificate, don't forget to celebrate with IGP checking. Thank you everyone for your active participation in this session. I hope we'll meet together in our afternoon session. Thank you everyone. Stay.